Ann Simmons is the Moscow bureau chief at the Wall Street Journal, and she joins me now. Really good to have you on this story. I mean, firstly, can you try and make sense of today's developments? Because it could imply two drastically different scenarios, right? One, that Prigozhin is a marked man, or is he a free man? Which is it?
Well, it's really an extraordinary turn of events. The very fact that President Lukashenko came out and said that, Prigozhin is not in Belarus, he's in Russia, was actually quite stunning for many people because Vladimir Putin had made clear that he thought that the actions undertaken a couple of weeks ago, this revolt, so to speak, this mutiny, was actually traitor. And treacherous. It was a betrayal, he said. He said it was a stab in the back, not only to Russian troops, but also to the nation. So it's really the $6 million question right now. Where is Yevgeny Prigozhin? And it really does kind of shine a light on the fact that there is a level of confusion right now in Russia, in the halls of the Kremlin. They are trying to very much put a lid on this story. They want it to go away. So in that regard, they're not commenting. They're saying that, we're not tracking his movements. We don't care. It's not our desire. But that in itself speaks volumes.
Indeed, it does. And I want you to try and help us pull the curtain back on what this empire that Prigozhin had put together, what it means. His power base certainly rested on vast sums of money that he accumulated in what was, and perhaps in many ways still is, one of the most corrupt systems in the world. How did this function in the years prior, and what might it morph into now if Putin manages to co-opt it or even dismantle it?
Well, the President Putin came out recently and actually for the very first time acknowledged that the Russian state was actually funding Wagner and funding Prigozhin. The company, Wagner Company, as you know, they have mercenaries all over the world, in particular on the African continent. There are also reports that they have really big assets in terms of gold and money all over the world. And certainly it appears that President Putin has decided that if Mr. Prigozhin still indeed is running around Moscow or still wandering around Russia, that he is someone that he probably still needs around. So this is a really incredible, really kind of stunning set of developments. Going forward, what we're going to see is we're going to see the Kremlin try to regain the narrative, try to show that President Putin is still in charge. And that has definitely been the main course of action for them over the last few days. You saw President Putin come out and speak to Asian leaders at the Shanghai Cooperation Organization Summit, thanking them for their support, telling them that Russians are still united, still consolidated. And we're certainly going to hear very much that message, I understand, and I believe going forward.
Mm-hmm. And before I let you go, can you just describe for people the insidious corruption that is still part and parcel of this system? And it really is a system that the Kremlin is slave to still.
Well, certainly that there are reports that, Russia is a very kind of corrupt system, that the authorities have allowed this to continue for years. It's very difficult to peel back the onion and really know the workings of this system. But certainly there is a lot of what many analysts have said is dirty money circulating in Russia. Whether or not that is the case, the Kremlin certainly has denied such allegations. But whether or not that is the case, it certainly shows that the kind of system that Yevgeny Prigozhin was involved in, or still could be involved in, is one that remains a mystery, and one that maybe the Kremlin doesn't want to be exposed too soon.
Yeah, such a good point there as we await Yevgeny Prigozhin to actually surface somewhere in Russia or elsewhere. And thanks so much. Really appreciate it.